Hello and welcome back to another Rust video. In this video we carry on from where we left off on the farmer's adventure. Oh. Don't sound rated. Boat base. After struggling for a few minutes to get my boat out of the boat base, it was finally time to go for an ocean scrap run. With plenty of barrels out there, and boxes and crates, and the possibility to go diving, I was quite excited for this adventure, and I knew that I would be able to get to my tier 2 in no time. I saw that the lighthouse was quite close to where I was gathering my scrap, so I figured it should be time to go for a little bit of a grinding session. A recycler is the best way to get the scrap that you need from all the components you find. Although the lighthouse had nothing in it, we were still able to recycle. Nice. Wait. We managed to get a good amount of scrap from recycling the components that we had, but I still wanted to find some more by diving. It was time to head to the fishing village and get myself some gear to go diving. I started off with buying a diving tank, goggles, a wetsuit and some flippers. A wetsuit is quite nice, especially if you're in colder areas. But I got a little bit of a surprise from one of the first boxes I opened. No way. After gathering all of the scrap I could find on land, it was time to go back to the ocean for our first dive. Drill. Get a chainsaw. What's that? Bolts. I forget sometimes how cool it is actually diving and hitting barrels on the ocean. It's kind of peaceful. One of the things is that there's a lot of crates down here, and the loot is actually pretty good sometimes. The amount of comps that you get, and even really good materials for upgrading your base and creating items, crafting items. One of my favorite parts was trying to look out for sharks every time I went down for a dive. I didn't yet have a spear gun, so it was a bit tricky finding the correct diving spots. After finishing my boat run, coming back to base, I did a little bit of research. I realized I was just a little bit of scrap away from getting all of the components necessary to start up my farm. So it was back to a little bit of a road run. As a farmer, a horse is kind of like your greatest companion. Not only is it for riding, but it also provides you with an endless supply of fertilizer. The only one I managed to find today was being killed by a man for fuel for a car. I had to make him pay. Nice. I believe I skipped the first shortcut. It's time for a barrel montage. As a solo farmer, I try to avoid as much contact as possible, to not draw too much attention to where my base is, or to even create enemies, so I'll avoid even the closest of contact. Combiners. Gonna need ladders. Now this was probably the greatest reward of building my base so low. I managed to gather water for my water barrel straight from the ground. It was pretty awesome, filling up anytime I needed to. Technically I could just throw this onto the plants, the boxes. Great. After playing for quite a while now, it was finally time to do a box reorganization. I gathered so many new components and items, it was time to move the items. Now it's finally the time we've all been waiting for. The farm setup. Fits. Power to the battery. Now just as I was finishing up the electricity, I redid it in the morning, but I just had one of those crazy rust interactions.
Hello?
Hello?
Dude, why is your roof not burning? I'm putting a torch on it.
Yo, it's Mallow.
Don't you want to help me out? I don't fucking understand how this game works, dude.
Ek ook nieuw.
Just this dude, what the fuck's going on? I'm trying to drink water and this game just disconnects me.
Here comes a bear.
Isn't there millies here, dude? How come all this stuff looks like porn, but I can't take anything?
No idea, dude.
Fuck, dude. This game's so shit. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Isn't there like a tutorial or something?
Yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah, dude, that's like 30 minutes for one tutorial. They're fucking mad. Airdrop inbound. How does that work?
You look at the airplanes, and then you follow the package.
I don't see any airplanes though.
You gotta wait for it. It goes boom.
There's nothing, dude. This game's a scam.
Probably.
It's like my FPS, dude. There's nothing. I'll check you sometime, dude.
Cheers,
I'm
bud.
gonna go watch a tutorial. This game's fucking whack, dude.
Cheers.
Oh, wait, cheers.
I'd love to help him, but you never know. Is he? Teaching someone is so tedious on a toxic server. But yeah, sorry, I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy. Stevie Boots teaches Rust. Maybe next time. After that wholesome interaction, it was finally time for day to come. Now we could finally fix our power, set everything up, and get prepared to plant some clones. Once the power is set up, we can plant our seeds and start working on a god clone. Sometimes it takes minutes, sometimes it takes hours. In my case, it took days. Yeah, but the sun comes up this direction. When are you gonna get so much late? Whoa. Planting seeds and eventually finding a seed with a good combination of traits was quite difficult, but every now and again I'd get a right one with at least 5 good attributes. Age is probably your least wanted out of the Y and G's. It's almost a perfect clone. G, Y, Y, G. Well, it is a perfect. Got a pretty good hemp clone. After this point, I just kept planting different seeds to try and find the best I could find. At the end of the day, you want to try and find as many Y's and G's as possible. X's are nothing, so it can be filled by anything. W is the least favorite because it takes up a lot of water. H sometimes is good to keep in your clones, especially if you know that you live in a cold climate or a very arid climate like the desert. So don't throw away clones that do have a good H compound. But having more than one H kinda is a waste of space when it comes to having a perfect clone. After spending quite a bit of time working on finding good seeds with good attributes, I figured it was time to start honeycombing the outside of my base to make sure that I survive the next couple hours. People were talking about raiding at this point. People were talking about having AKs, which means that they might be getting the bigger boom, and I want to be able to survive at least 15 plus rockets at this point. After finishing a bit of upgrades on the base, it was about time to go on another scrap run. I was still lacking garage doors to make sure that my base was absolutely secure. So it was time to go back to the boat base for another boat run. One of the great things about having a diving kit on hand is that you can sort of sneak up towards monuments. The lighthouse is probably the best one, no one can see you coming, and you come in like a stealth arrow, so you should have a chance to at least get into the area without anyone knowing. And that was my idea right now. I don't know anything. Go on in. Research first. Saving scrap. It's a I spent a bit of my scrap at this point to get some important blueprints, although some of them were still quite expensive. After doing a few upgrades on my base, just to secure it for the night, I had to call it, and this was the end of day one. Right. Big. Nice. Seems like we weren't raided. Day 2 was quite a big day. The goal was to get garage doors. Means I needed to go and gather a lot more scrap. Because I had an early start to the day, that meant a lot of the monuments were free reign. Decided to check all the supermarkets out and find as many components as I could to scrap for the day. Wooden eyeball. As a solo, there's nothing wrong with grubbing, and if you ever find a decayed base, always take a look. You never know what you might find. For me, I just like the fact that I could find a few tools, combat knives, and I even got myself a nail gun. It's a good weapon to have in the start if you have nothing else. A free crossbow too. I think I might do a junkyard run as well, just before it gets a little bit too populated. Even though I needed the scrap to get myself a level 2 bench, I decided to learn the high wall so that I can maybe put down a compound to secure my base a little bit more. You can kind of create a little bit of a compound now. Yeah, today was garage door day, so we have to take the kids. Instead of immediately going out for a scrap run, I procrastinated a bit and decided to plant some more seeds. It's better to have a bunch of seeds than a level 2 bench right now. We'll play around with those a little bit later. Get them going. So checking everything later. We'll clone these. There's a clan base quite close to it. I think we can do it. Hello neighbor. Not really a neighbor, he squares away. The scrappers and whatnot. It's gonna make it a bit challenging to get a lot of scrap, but choice of having a perfect water base. Just farm endlessly. Fresh. I haven't done long runs in a long time. I'm usually really close. Shit. Can't see. You're always so sneaky. Is there any reason for that sneaky? Really? Looked like it was on his head. Oh, massive. I'd go back now, but I'm a bit far from this. Cleaned. I don't know if he has a gun or not, so... He's either long gone or he's still just hiding around, waiting for me to grab. Bandages. Oh, such a cool door. I broke my jumper. It's my neighbor up there that's getting... Only 251 scrap to go, and we got that tier 2. Yeah, I don't recommend doing this. Every time I almost had enough scrap to get my tier 2 down, I researched another thing, and another thing, and another thing. But hey, it's meds. We're gonna need those as a farmer. At least we can clone it and get a few more pumpkins. It's a lot of explosions. All these bases getting destroyed, man. I'm tempted to go and look. What if I can flame arrow raid that small place there? Might be an inconspicuous gold mine. Okay. go. Massive. I've got some storage up here. Got two weapons. Yeah, Stevie. Good job, bro. So good, it's gonna change soon. I hope. Right. A lot of time has passed. Quite a long break. Back to carry on. Let's see how Caesar doing. Nice. Blooming. Actually ready to be owned. Now if this is your first time watching a farming video, cloning is essential to providing a massive amount of whatever you're trying to create, whether it's berries or hemp. You want to double up on everything. After a lot of farm runs and scrapping, I managed to have a lot of leftover metal, so it was time to upgrade the core. Changing it from about 17 rockets we upgraded to 20 plus. I have no idea. Yeah. As I was about to go on a run to find a few more materials, I saw some birds fly in the sky. Now those birds are an indication that someone's chopping a tree. I knew someone was nearby, so I scouted the area. Oh shit. I don't want lower ground. Yo, why not? Missing. The Mistmaster. Man, I need to get used to using a crossy. After that upsetting defeat, it was time to go back to the ocean, where there's no PvP. It's just about fighting the elements of survival out there. So I cooked myself some meat, got my health back up to 100, and then headed out to the ocean. High quality. Something I find always amazing about Rust. It doesn't matter how many hours you have, there's always someone new. Ready. workbench. Might as well craft one now. Get it out the way. No idea where. Cool. Good one. I'm gonna search for some white seeds in a bit. Now if there's anything that you guys can take away from this video is check your surroundings. As far as around us. Just like that's a Tommy. Custom. But I hope that guy doesn't wake up and see me running away. That feels so scripted. Run out for scrap and get guns. Or what? And he had 148 scrap on him. So close to a tier 2 now. I think what I'm gonna do is research these bullets. Yep. I have bullets. That's so crazy. There's just a guy sleeping there. Cool. Thanks for the donation, my man. Cool. Onwards to find the berries. Now, I haven't seen a lot of players do this on Rust, but there's a particular tea that I haven't seen anyone use yet, and that's a scrap tea. The scrap tea gives you bonus scrap from every barrel you hit, up to 350%, which means instead of getting 2 scrap, you get 6, possibly 7 from each barrel. So my goal, and what changed my whole vibe, was learning to make that tea. All I had to do is make sure I can find myself some white berries so I can begin the cloning process. Just random like forest. There's no way he won't suspect it was me. Oh. Nice. These ones we just have. I'll leave this barrel downstairs. Just waiting for the night. As night fell, it was time to go to Bannergam for a big recycle session to get as much scrap as I could to get down that tier 2. Scrap. That's big. With the amount of items that I had in the recycler, it took me all the way until daytime. So I had one of the craziest runs home, passing big clan bases, and a lot of players that were awake. Every single sound in my heart. It seemed like a lot of people were logging on, and I was very fortunate to find Benjamin. I get this home, it's massive. A horse and a great scrap run. Come on. Come on. Yes. Ooh, that's intense. Cool. To my great surprise, I had a level 2 workbench. Just kidding. Some of my footage got corrupted. That's just the way it goes. And at this point, I was getting ready to go off for the night. So I made Benjamin a little bit of a barn, secured it, and called it for the night. Nice, Benjamin's back. Now if you guys have stuck around this far, hope you guys are enjoying this little series as a farmer. It was quite a fun wipe for me, and all of the random moments that happened were quite interesting. If you guys are enjoying it, don't forget to subscribe so that you guys can catch the next episodes. And this is part 2 of a farmer's journey. Don't forget to watch part 1 if you haven't already. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Just subscribe, guys. Just do it. Subscribe. Do it. Do it now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.